So she's also your teacher.
Alberto? No? Yeah, it's the one down. Yeah, it's one of the. Siciliano. Siciliano, effettivamente. Non Venezia non le Alpi.
Le Alpi, però.
Alberto sì, italiano insegna la
That is
We just picked him up in the temple. That's the registration for his whole.
okay. So Christian arrived.
Okay.
Donato.
Okay. Sama testele. Tadiri mixi. Toa sabakish. Toa.
So first of all, to all of you, I'm very happy that we can see a few new faces today.
Yeah. Tadiri. Tajironi masu tamtanti Geshe. Ani Lam-Rim de bush chinru yaresro. Di lobsen de tanima kashi. Lobse kashi mo lando sanjushir. Tanda mantini masini mandre.
Yes, so basically the topic of this class that we're studying is the book called Lam-Rim, or the stages of the path to enlightenment. We already had a few lessons before, and now we are continuing through this text.
Yeah. Tangoli amazo ta chik. Ani chitang ke Lam-Rim se ti lobjong kandis chiyo me. Lam-Rim shong kandis la lobjong chiyo me ti kole deshi chikyabres. Chi shong bena Lam-Rim se ti kandis re. Ani ti zawa shong kandis la masu ani chi shisha chin Lam-Rim ge shong tsama yong re se chong dong chong. Kasangwa tindi deshi chures.
So before I'm going to explain just briefly, in general terms, what is the Lam-Rim? Where did the Lam-Rim came from? What text is based on? Just a brief introduction.
Yeah. Lam-Rim se tuanda de Lam Jiramba se also samlo tangdang ramba sing de shi.
So basically Lam-Rim, so means the Lam means path, Rim means stages. Yeah. So these are the stages of thinking. What are the order of thinking that you need to have when you're in this path?
Yeah, Jadani that Sanji Sonsha Be Mabush wish Tomba Sonsha Ticolia, Masolo Young Ramba. Taina Dinengans with Suduni, Juji, and Korangi, Shon Chunju Samsha, Lam-Rim. Matati Jachin, and Tiris.
So if you go to the scriptures of the Buddha, all the scriptures, all the teachings of the Buddha, it's a very vast. There's a immense collection of teachings of the Buddha. But in this text, especially in the A Lamp for the Path of Enlightenment, which is the source of this Lam-Rim, he got all together in very condensed points and kind of made an order to how you should progress in these meditations, in this path.
Yeah, the young the Lam-Rim, Chuji Samshaya, Lam-Rim Che, Tatil Jebal Leon, the Chick Lam-Yer, Lam-Rim Kishon, Bamboy, Chulu remake.
So the root of this text, so the source of this text is this text called The Lamp for the Path of Enlightenment of Lama Atisha. And out of this text, there were many commentaries, many explanations later in Tibet, in India, in Tibet. In Tibet.
Yeah, boy, now like that chick. That was a chicken of coach, Chuji, Rumada, Chuji, it's just Mancha Kuzutan Digan. The Shishache, Tilent shit, the Lama Susuga. That the Lobjongche, the Yamlenchi, Rambino, Susan Yamyamada. What is such in it?
Probably you've heard that in Tibet there is not just one school of one. There are 4 different schools inside the religion, and Buddhist religion, right? So all of these, they have different masters, and each of these masters, based on different experiences, they compose slightly different, they compose variations of this explanation of the Lam-Rim, of the stages of the path.
Yeah. Tabegi Shon Kono Tishache, Tate Lobjongche, Susu Nimare, Yamlenche, Yamlenche, Susalianchi, Yamto Manda, Susu Yang Tamla Manda. What that shown the Lobjongche, Tamla Medicina Yagoya series. On the nation as it, indeed, Shon Manda, Mabuch somewhere. Tindichang with a Gilik Chodwina, 저다 남아츠가 그런 게 Lam-Rim Chechong, Lam-Rim Chung, Lam-Rim Ring, Siramba, Simchis.
So all these different masters, they had different experiences, and also they presented different methods to achieve these experiences. So studying and practicing one text, you can get certain methods. In this case, we're studying something of the school Geluk, for those who know. And the author of this text is Lama Tsongkhapa.
Yeah, Korange Lam-Rim, Tanda, Rimba, Lam-Rim Chimbo, Lam-Rim Ring, Lam-Rim Chung Sum. Tinang Tanda Masolom Jum. Tanda Di, Yang Ed Lam-Rim Ring.
And also Lama Tsongkhapa, he composed three commentaries or explanations of this root text that we talked about. So there's the big one, there's the great stages of the path, there's the small one, and there's also the middling one, in the middle. We're studying this one, the middling length Lam-Rim.
Yeah, Tadi Tsama, Peki Jojando, that Joshindo, Peki Muirte, Chipa, Tsama, Tainan could Geshe Japtamada. So with that, Karakot there, and the Lobiochin and Retiers.
Yeah, the topic and the things to be practiced, and also the goal is the same, this text, but the way he explained is a little bit different, the way he explains the topics.
Yeah, Tadi Gana Kazongol and Mazolo, Tachi Sotin, Kashishi, and Rachinish to Sarva, teaching us that Sotin, and the section was saying about that during a Sundanima, the country called the Leo resume, Tachi, and Kazangolia, Tachi Nambi Tatugan, good gains the country she could make. Then Tati Gile, telling us that she Loma said, Loma, Nenga Chechu, so Karsanguris.
So these are some of the topics that we cover in previous classes. And where are we arriving right now at this moment? So we just discussed a few classes ago about the qualities of the teacher regarding a teacher of Buddhist philosophy. So what are the qualities, the characteristics that he needs to have complete? And today we're getting to the characteristics of the student. What qualities do you need to have to be a good student?
The Mambos of Tajibo, the Chichena, was in the Tsani, the Chilean, not saying Shamba, and I was a chick, Tanjania Cassia, the Gonmandra to
And this topic is not a very extensive topic. We're not going to dwell too long in this topic, and then we can go to the Joniga.
Yeah.
We can go to the freedoms and freedoms and endowments is one translation. I was trying to remember a translation that I just saw now, but I forgot. Freedoms and favorable conditions. Yeah. We're going to this later. Yeah.
Okay. Di no ya tanda di lumba kolia ani babala ta korangi. Yandiwa koran karson shair sende. Chik tal di lobjong chenge kandini china lobjong chenge nang pagi jong kandis lobjong chiyan lobsen chabar kaya mata kantar di nambe katashena tanda chu lobjong chia de chu yin mai na chabar kaya kanda kandish ko rezi on kolia chechu sumshini bar sanko ariyandiwa tini son shair.
So here we are studying from the perspective of Aryadeva, Indian master, a Buddhist Indian master. So he was talking about what are the qualities that a student of Buddhist philosophy, a student of the Buddhist treatises, but not only limiting ourselves to this topic, it can be any other topic. So there are three main qualities that a student needs to have.
Yeah. Tati tambo karasa zirni anta kutsik tetere zirni londen tonya nyambo no chicha shes ta korong kutsik teche tadelia zirni lo zero ne basi ko rese chikche wa lo zero ne basi ta lo zero ne basi tonda karare somdi tande de wala ma chik chona me basi tonda ti.
So so these three qualities of the student is going to be unbiased. We can think unbiased, yeah. I think. Loden, which is intelligent or clever, smart, intelligent, maybe better. Donyewa, which is with effort. Someone you need to have effort. Yeah.
Tadi,
And the meaning of being unbiased is to be impartial too.
Tadi, any cholom me basish, Tamdi, Luzone Goreziandi, Tajik Soso, Lobjon Canele Chewin, Tazone Thunder, Chetan Rini Grace. So, then this two the cousin, Soso Saulo Gania, Petsama Sancham, Spegilia, Chikarina, Nye, Lobjon, Soso Shindo Ranch, Tele Chick Dodana, and Soso Lancho Dote, Tapo Mazim, Karina, Sosopa, and it's Kazor Touch, Sosumuni, Touch Soso Namkios and Soso some lot of good summer check.
Yes, so about being partial. So it's about not being partial, of course. And here there are two ways of understanding what it means to be impartial in the sense. So one way of understanding what it means to be impartial is to have a very pure, a very sincere, curious mind, very sincere curiosity. So when you're listening to something, you pay attention to what the topic, the content of what you're learning, and you have this pure, curious mind. On the other sense, right?
So Tati Tondal Tadadi, Riniba the Chilshera, Marmari, Riniba the Chilshe, on Tambo, Tandadi Tonda Carizon, so like Chimonia, the Shane, Lobjon Carion, so which Yam, that's a sure, Tawad.
And the meaning of this having this pure curious mind about the content is also about not grasping too tightly at your opinions or your views of your studies, your background, your culture, all of these things. So not clinging, not grasping too much at these things, and being more open to this new content, being more open to whatever you're going to be exposed to.
Yeah. Tanga Sola Namji, Soso Masino, Kangachi Karisena, Chick Namji Yamyon, Town de Che Mijik, Tachik Tamshichu and Yana Lutrichu. Takante Chitandeva in the Chitamandeva, clothes in condition. Soso de Jangandro de Tachik Soso will launch shoulder, Soso Dobat, Soso Tassert, Soso Tasser, Soso Tasser and Tumban Shena. There's an hour to the society and chick to not yet. So is some sort of Montamba, Shivana, Mazotamboni, the niche culture. And he should have their donor there, finishing chorus.
Something that happens in our life, a problem that happens in our life is that not only coming to Buddhist philosophy classes or anything related to religion, but anything, we go to someone who is explaining, saying something. If it is in accordance to what we have already heard, if it's in accordance to what we like, the way we like to understand the word, then we pay attention, then we're interested, then we like what the person is saying. If it's not in accordance, if it's something a little bit weird, a little bit strange to us, then we don't pay attention. We don't want to be related to this.
Yeah, that tea, Tangarang Samserita. Tea, that's a so ani Tawa and Chakwazimia, so chick. Chokes, so touching only and yam yams in the so region Takarin. Tinigon and Chapazimia de Nama the Teson, ni this Durna, touching Namangama, touching Karsur. The Mungitisuda, Tesan Durna, she Mungitisuda, Tigon, this Chapazimia. She cheer you on, she can
in my opinion, this being too attached to our view of the world, to our worldview, to our religion, culture, etc., whatever, I think compared to nowadays, before in the past, I think it was people were more attached, people were grasping more at this.
Yeah. That there's some good it's all cars on the chick, Tangarang Tasser Tsering Lobjong the Chichumutar. Tsering said the Chichita Kachi Mare, that of the Kashimashi. The Kurungwe needs a Karim Bati. Go Netanjina, Konoha Quet, Mukoya, Namsalap to Quet, Chagdo. Tea she can't in a chicken, Shankies, Mambush, that's Karina and Koyambo to Sto, Tawagan in Koyambo. That
My feeling, I think maybe because of the influence of science in the world. So science doesn't talk about religion, doesn't talk about, maybe philosophy is not the best translation, yeah, but doesn't have this very, very solid, like science usually talks about how things are, so investigates reality and whatever is the result of this investigation. So it keeps evolving, it keeps changing, it keeps, it's very adaptable. So maybe because of this influence nowadays, because people are studying science, are being exposed to science, people are getting a more open mind, in general.
Yeah. Ngui netsala nga su kar kore se na, ta su samlo koyang boji kore se tandan di zirwa ne pasi ya. Te peke chumbu chagare se. Kar zana su yaki jo kowe na, su samlo tasar ti jawa tang kowe na, jawa tang la su tasar ti koyang boche mata na nayang jawa tang tu. Jawa mata na su ngama tasar samlo tang chokare na te rancha ne te.
So basically, in brief here, it's saying to have an open mind, or a vast, broad, open mind. Because if the goal here of these studies is to improve your mind, to improve your way of perceiving the world, to change your way of perceiving the world towards a better sense, to a better place, if you're too attached to your current way of perceiving the world, that becomes an obstacle. So you cannot change anything. If you're too attached to how things are, to your worldview, then it stays exactly the same forever.
De karesana tadan di so de karesana tachi moni lomba shina tachi jangke shina jangdo yongke shina ta samlo ta serte tindiji kore se tanen di
So and also is for a person that really wants to be a student, that's really willing to learn, then you really need not to have this grasping.
Yeah. Onde tachi teni ta kare yore zonde ta donda nibade ta dendro ani ta serte so samlo jimo jaya ya so ta serte jimo ja kore se tin jawa ta ya la khar kore se onde su khar sheng do te ta kore se mit su khar sheng do ne shenge middle ta yo maris ta nambi ta jab gani chi gar se chulam kanzal ma tu chula tu se korange khar sheng donda khar se te ta gore ma ta ina ta ma chui namji any
So the second meaning of this is, if we want to change our worldview, if you want to change our minds, our attention needs to be at the content of the explanation, needs to be at the meaning of the words, not at the person who is explaining this meaning. So in Buddhist philosophy, it said, don't look at the person, look at the teaching. So don't look at the person, look at the teaching. Yeah. This is the first of 4 maxims. Maybe if we go to all the 3 other maxims, it's a bit confusing, not necessary.
Taina nga so namji jude na mikera chingure la onde ko karshe jana namse nye do chik chik yang chik so gacho namji yana so ge na de chidang ge na yin da go re dembare ina yang so ge na so driyo chi na chikare na namse tel to na che shamba chik lagu yana shida to na ma che tadi nga so mse nyam nyong na la ngoyin se tel chi gorse.
Yeah, so something that we can see, the way of the world, the way that we act in our society is, if a very famous person or a very famous teacher, a famous lama, he says something, then we immediately listen, or also people that we like, our friends, etc., people that we like, we have this attachment, this connection, or our teacher itself, we listen very easily. And of course, if it's our teacher, we need to listen, it's good to listen. But the problem is because of this attachment, you cannot pay attention to other people, you don't listen to what they say, so you whatever they say, even if there's meaning, you ignore.
Yeah. Dotana chik lave chipa chichang inaya mide kansa chechon karketa chechon tindi wange chikala donan cha chikti tano de pel chikti shejan yote pe mi mambo chikalam sa chik
In brief, we can picture a case of the two teachers that are saying exactly the same words, but one you listen and you pay attention and you're interested. The other one you don't pay so much interest because not a special person. It's not so yeah.
Yeah, tanto tena karai zonde zo ne se ade so samlo gani lo zo ta tang de so samlo gani ko yang bu chik che pa sho ki yur nyen sa de yang chapar ma ta zo kar ne kar shi ge yam ti gang ko
yeah, so in brief, using the two senses. So the first one would be to keep an open mind, not attached to your views. The second one would be not to differentiate, not to discriminate between who is saying, just paying attention more to the meaning, the words themselves that this person is saying.
But isn't that contradictory to what we learned in the last two classes? Because there we said it's important to check the qualities of a teacher before we listen to him. And now you say, don't care about who's the teacher, just listen to the words.
No, it's not contradictory.
And then Lamsa and call it Kuni Mani Kachishu, Yengor, Tamboni, Lobjon Chegors. Cheni Tamala, Sheni Susu, the Simba Dingni, Peculo Tichiate. They are Yengor about the Kuni Mani.
Yeah, this is not contradictory, because if you go to analyze a teacher, you go to analyze to check if he has all these qualities. It's not that you don't have to listen to him. It's the opposite. You need to listen. You need to listen to the words of these teachers for you to analyze. That's the way of...
Kepa check corresi to kepa chene tachi check sai la marang ka cha tre chung chimisa ne lo jong che samba de kepa check ka chi wo mar yeah kepa lo jong se che ala meten kepa che de kar che ka chi wo mar.
And this process of analyzing and seeing all the qualities, this is about the search for a root guru. This is it's not about that every teaching you go, like every teacher you go to, you're always analyzing, checking if he has the qualities, etc.
Yeah. Tandan di she de ada karsana choro lobyong kan ri chiyana. Tanda soso ni koyang bo chi ni parte nyengo res. Tambo ni soso to no sa ni ma chi mitis ke trata tinita dena soso yang kan ra mar se tanda dir.
Yeah, the meaning here is to have an open mind, and also not just because the person is famous or not famous. And if you're paying attention to that, if your mind is focused on this, then it's harder to get to study and harder to get an understanding.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Maybe. And it
Okay, so the second one, the second quality of a student.
That's also only big Taki Garnish the Lozoni by your one Tana. A copia simple in Yengo, but the Chigores. Taina Cargores on the Tamani shared in Alia, Susolia, Guia Carish. The coach, Mani Chisoyan Cablia, Goya and Derish. That's also that's in a Samla in a non Derish. The engine chair is Susolia, but the Napjot, Pejutango, yes, on that.
Okay, so is it enough to have this impartial mind? Let's say that you go to listen to a teaching and you have a very pure curiosity. You're paying attention to the meaning of the words. You're very sincere in your motivation. But you also need to understand what this person is saying. Like if this person is saying things that you need to abandon or adopt, we say abandon actions, behavior you need to abandon, things you need to adopt. You need to be able to differentiate between these things. You need to be able to use this analytical mind.
Yeah. Do the nata chik paki ko ani chik namsha no lantor ke namsha chik 춘주연저 베트시 잡고 가르송이야 가르디 시험 어때 딘딘들이신 딘딘만 딘딘던 제반도 딘딘던 제반도세 소소고 디기 인지 남쪽 certi 니 버동고 그래서 대 마제나 다 마보 쉬우신 손샤다 이나 담고니 고야데 카리나 모닝 알펜토야데 카리나 세슈그라 타말즈미야가 맹게리 차로 병디 딘디 담보니 남쪽 certi 고 그래서
Yeah, so this is the quality of Loten. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
This is the quality of Loten of being intelligent, of having this intelligence, which means that you need also to use your intelligence. You need to use your capacity of thinking about the meaning of the words and checking where there is a relationship, where there are connections, and also make these relationships with your own life, your own way of behaving, and etc. Otherwise, even if you're very open to the teaching, if you don't put in this work, then you don't get an understanding.
Yeah, that indeed. Penachik, Lojong Mancha, she was a current Yoda Senator, Tachkangachik, Pena go lob sendis in a Ramba Chinico, Chick Chill and Jay Opon, Tindi Namsa Susu, Yapon, she pontu Matuna, Tindi Yapon, so Matuna, and the chick Karkar and Jay, Marimba, the court Tindi, or the Ninja, the Aposo Matuna, and a chip. Yamachi, Sosalia, the Gonyos, can fuse Chashua. What did the child is? The counter, she loves in Carrena, the chick chill and Jeva, he part dial tapshi carciento. What did under the couple suit in the garnish yours?
Yeah, so the main thing here is to be able to, because there are many presentations, so many presentations given during the teachings, and all these orders and etc., all the stages. And if you're not able to make the connection, if you're not able to see how this is related to this and is related to this, if you're not able to posit all these relationships, then everything just becomes very confusing for you. You just become very confused. Yeah.
Yeah, teaching that you say, but she teaching Nambi that of Shora. Tandadi Lotsendi. Nambi Lotsen Mambo, she just a chicken Ramada. Pinachamsi Kondo, the English Condeni Kondo Mambo Jan, cigarettes. Taina, that this which Canadian Jay and Nasia. Jinji, Cousin Samsel Topa Legana, Penachi Timbashi Kondo, chick shaped. Yet I jump some the current Jay. Jinji Milaba, and so trail. Tamshi Karche today. What in this Sotana, Tenishini Sosolia. Ya Jinjoyata, Karina.
Probably many of you have already attended many teachings and many different topics. For example, now here there's also teachings on love and compassion and teachings on the Four Noble Truths and many different kinds of topics inside Buddhism. And you can ask yourself what is the connection, what is the relationship between this topic and that topic and that topic? And if you're able to get this comprehensive map of the teachings, if you're able to see how everything relates to each other, that's very beneficial for your progress.
Yeah. Tindi gone that Kaji didn't to a chindo. That Tambo Karjana Yayors. Karzana Kalichiang, Jesus Tambo, Tangachi Nanshun Jonchena, Tambo Karjankur, Karniam Lichina Yayors. Did it to a mobile legdo. The Susan one did Tindi pass and Jeva Sama, Tindi. Dan in Jeva Tatu, so soon Jeva Tamaton in Milkachet. Tindichina Tambo Karjang said in Rechagumar, Saman and Dreyer. Karjang Susu, Tilpan Drese. The big kitchen worries.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, a question that might comes many times is, like, as a beginner, being introduced to Buddhism, what is the first thing that I need to study? What is the first thing that I need to practice? So many times this question comes. Correct me if I'm wrong in the translation. I'm going to speak slower. So yeah, this question might come, and if we are able to see the connection, the relationship in all these presentations, or if we cannot study all these presentations, we can ask someone, and actually it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter where you start, because since it's all related.
Yeah. Jero Karajana social painto Karchungsana, take down the Jukuris. Taina Kosaman Jayor. Jeva de Sotosona, 아니 소소 다때 된저 삼성 사로 거용데 제발 가면 된거 말해.
Yeah, whatever is more beneficial to you in the moment, you can learn that. And because that is so connected with every aspect of Buddhist philosophy. And it's going to make you.
Yeah, 이는 다다 당보 가서 다직 삼로 만지야 가서 삼로데 배 듣고 쉬우시 차대어라 bedka. 다직 와야 호스로. 다 딘지 거블이야 당보 직 삼로 주대야 체 탑신도 체네 다 갱카시 다저 당보 직 우인정음도 검수시. 더 우인정음스 검세야 수문이 다직 뭐니 검원이 가는잖아. 검원이 가면 랑 저거요 말다데. 그럼 생이 바래서나.
That's.
더 직당보 소석삼로 지티에 답시지. 베나 지 줄로도와 미지 부도지 줄로도 원도 되는 대 파만도 진인가여서는 파마스 시티니 지 콜리아 대 징아르모도 대 시티에죠. 된도 맞아 삼로 가사가 투도. 시티에 답시지. 그 되는도 왔다 당보더니 마지랑 제차고리 감사 도구마로.
But also many times, many people who come to Buddhism, they have a very wild mind. So that's why many times it's said in the beginning for you to do some breathing meditation, just to bring your mind, make your mind a little bit more stable. There is a question, there is a debate whether this meditation is actually meditation in the beginning. Maybe it doesn't become a fully qualified meditation, but it's just a method, just to bring the mind a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more stable.
Yeah, 어디 답신도 없이
Yeah.
들어. 뭐다데 또 컨텐츠인데 니바데 대체 됐어.
Yeah, this is the second one. Was it clear? The second one? Yeah, just being clever. Just
그러더니
be clever, please.
되니 선바데다. 선바데. 나 강래야 소소 즉 삼롱원에 봐. 아니 사마친 소소 고양보친 니. 니 마세 답게 그런 그 겐디 송용와데. 당원이 고야데 테레시. 당 고야데 테레시아세. 소소게 참아하고 해체. 다 하tingi 하고 잠고 펜토 그래서나. 대 잠고 듣고 말이 다 가르고 그래서. 다 소소게 티강에 토니르 치니다. 또드나 라레타 고레시.
Yeah, so the third one, so let's say you are listening with a very pure motivation, with a very pure mind, and also a very open mind. And on top of that, you're able to see exactly what's necessary, what's not necessary. You're able to understand the meaning of what the teacher or what the teachings are telling you. We can ask, is that enough? Is that enough just to understand the teachings, just to have this intelligence to understand the teachings? No, it's not enough. You also need to put this into practice. You need to have this effort, this perseverance, you need to strive. You need to have this striving to accomplish this.
Yeah.
The internet will survive this.
Yeah. 다 있나요? 다 나절을 갈래 가셔대 선바트레다.
For us, the hardest is this third one.
Yeah, that 20 years chekores. That ambale 20 years only tambo lokati chu. That only goya de direction, goya direction. That thing it tamshi chekore samlo kernochi tambo le gora 20 years dumbale. That 20 years chile ona tinishiniti komen patsunchi. 20 thing part go sta 20. That 20 compatsun gonna do a kabla. That was it. Thank God reset. 아직 참 내가 좀 받던데요. 아니 돈이 요아 컨셉이 가는 받던 삼삼하세. 니마 카시 나 답시 왜 저같이. 준트도 그랬어. 나텔레 노비 따라오는 지금 20라니 기저처리 따라줄수 니시.
Yeah, so in this third quality of having effort, so this means having the quality of joyful effort. And in joyful effort, there are two types of joyful efforts. So there is a joyful effort of enjoying the practice, or just say being happy.
Yeah. Kijur Sunday Sunday. Kijur the Tajurs. Kijur said the Tambo Betkani, Chachitele Yambatsun, and the Shitapo Chekures. Shitapo chairs some Mazeba. Shitapo the Yamachini chairs and Pentomari.
Yeah, so sorry, the first of the joyful effort is saying more about being intense, being able to be intense. to put intense effort into this. The second one is not only being intense, but also being able to make it sustainable. And many of us, we fall into this trap of we are able to, for 2, 3, 4 days, really be disciplined. And then in the 5th day, not so much.
저희는 다 대형 탑 개보싱이 버거리스로 탑 개보시 많잖아. 삼성 와서 답변님은 가시 시오 변님은 치즈니 숨숨식 pom자죠. 당보 안에 내리신 바에 남상 와서 삼론 지원도 돼 가보셔라. 안에 당치. 어쨌든 같은 책을 나야 돼요. 그래도 탑 개보시 많잖아. 아니 소소 아니 당치인가 요랬어.
And here we need to be very practical. We need to be very practical. Yeah, we need to be very practical. We need to be very realistic. Yeah, maybe very practical. Because if you put a lots of, yeah, we need to be very. We need to be very skillful. Skillful is good. We need to be very skillful. Because many times we are able to put a lot of effort, intense effort in our studies, in our discipline, in whatever it is. But the chances that in a short time we're able to make a big difference in our lives, that's not very realistic. You know, a short time is a short time. So because of this, we get very tired. We get really exhausted. So we need to be very skillful with this thing of putting effort in order to find this balance of sustainability and intensity.
Maybe so 가르쳐 가서 삼로 아니 검자들이 고 함께 보거니 대한 문틀니데 지레모 같이 린린 줘야 답시다. 대체는 신이 가서 준비에 대한 준비를 뭐에 싫어. 남사 준비 친구시 통과나 저한테 용미스 받으시라.
용미스 받.
남사
Tanto agita che non penso ieri.
여다 연구했다. 다 같이 가르치는 펜토 무일 친구시오시. 남사 지원으로
Yeah, so a question that arrives, especially with beginners in Buddhism. So many times they say that they can say that they're going, for example, to meditate for 1 month. They're going to retreat to meditate for 1 month, or maybe for 10 days. And it's not that there's no benefit in 10 days of meditation, 1 month of meditation. But for a bigger aim, for a greater aim, the practical way, the skillful way to do it is to try to go, slowly and slowly and slowly, to try to create a habit. And in the long term, usually in the long term, we can make big changes. In the short term, in 1 month, etc., it's hard to make huge changes.
Yeah. 당원에 사물단 지당의 디월만 가서 연락된 바지야식 그렇게 시오시 연락된 간 사물 그래서 맞서 다치 안에 당아서 연락된 바 상마들 자기본 되면 다리죠 지마도 가서 뒤쫓는 야스래 그던도 가르쳐 뒤강 시전을 저 상마 권용이죠 찬시 바지야식 찬시 바지야니 직전에 디월에스라 찬시 고래라오니 직전에 남도 미세의 남사 지금 인식을 기접지어 거스 배치 재원을 지어요 와서 된디에 싸우는 것이 그래 양치 조치니 소소를 기존다 된디 원대한테 지금 만들어
진짜 만들어
그래서 안되는 지 간대지나 섭습 된디 용시 그랬지 이노 돈다 돼서 가르는 된디 그지 맞아 삼로디 총 만번에 간대지는 것을 삼로야 작보돼 뭐 시에게 답시 근데 답시 있으리스디야 다 근데 저 가서 무슨 나르저 초치는 무슨 나르저식 좀 해요 대 마녀를 당고 그래 초치를 콘도식 좀 대녀를 당총 만번에 답는 들이 그랬어
So talking about the 7 branches, 7 branches: prostration, offering, confession.
Yeah.
7 branches, maybe the name is 7 branches. Yeah, so talking about the 7 branches, today we're not going to go into the 7 branches. It's one of the topics here of this text, but we decided to talk more about it later. And inside the 7 branches, there is prostration is the first one. So the act of prostrations. Many people can think of prostrations, for example, as, okay, you need to pay respect, you need to be devoted to this person, to this teacher, to this. So like something forced. So you forcibly need to put yourself on the ground. Some people also because of our backgrounds, our cultural background, our society. So when we see prostrations, we feel a little bit strange, comes a strange feeling for us to see people prostrating for other people, etc. That's can come this weird feeling. But the point of this, all the 7 branches, including prostration, is because recognizing, seeing that we have a very some bad emotions, negative emotions in our mind, they're very solid, they're like a rock, they're very hard. And the way, the skillful way to unmake this very hard negative emotion is to slowly melt it, to slowly start to make it more flexible, slowly start to make it more supple. And in the case of prostration, then you slowly, the more you do, the more your very hard arrogance, your very hard pride, or your very hard puffed up feeling starts to get more melted, more flexible. And also anger, if you have a very hard anger, you can also start to be slowly get better.
Yeah, another chick. Tangaso Samlana Yosha Tanda. Samlo Kalapata, chick Samlo Gopola.
Some look up.
Tanda. The new Monchok Samlos by Shikcheta. Also Samlo Yahadi Tipetka Kuso Wayontan, you all about Ding the Malhading it. Tayana Dangaso the Chigretes, Yoretan, Kanation, quote, what's a Muyakare, so chick ding ding, Samlo, Ranshi Yahoyet, Conditioning Dinglia Pito, Conditioning young one to his Shura. What the weird there is. The only time the child in a chance of Conolia, later use some good granny. And it's some downtown, say what that chance here and by Chris. Indeed, that is some of the commission and Maji. Chimazo Samlo and the Samlo game by Pen and Margento Chica Captain. It's Chatuya. Geshe is in the cupboard.
Yeah, usually the way it's presented is that we have very strong negative emotions. We have a vast amount of negative emotions, and we also have good emotions or good minds or very pure minds, sometimes deep inside our mind. And then the goal, the great aim of all this practice, all the 7 branches of prostrations, offering, etc., is to be able to get this. Like the nature of our mind is free of these negative emotions. So how do we bring this good qualities? How do we manifest this nature of the mind? So we have this whole ocean of mud here from our negative emotions, and these methods are to slowly change the balance.
Yeah, Tindo Tanda Chick Tatina Mambo Yovinani, some logic, some loba severa, some logic, Numogucho, Mambo Yovinani, Tanda Chandovina. That's going as a Nigeria Tindila Tis Pentoquers. My get much more into her. Chancia. So some Nigeria, that's Nigeria Jasatamba chance in the Maple to listen to the Capora. In a thea's ma. Nigeria, culture the child is here, so someone it is a Lutanche. Zipo Namjet and Diana Madashi. The Koronget is Marcel Evers.
And of course, these methods, for example, prostrations, they cannot eliminate 100% arrogance or pride, but they're just methods to calm down your arrogance and pride because of the posture of your body. So you go to the ground. So because of this body language, your mind gets used and used to being in a low position, and yeah, it.
Yeah.
it
다
raises.
배운데 단다 창도 지는 구바체 세운데 들리야 니 지자 친구 지야들이 자 친구 다 대양 다기 공시야 나신기 지난 소소가 봐서 아니 그 게임나래 미지 라마냐는 바다 이나 지 깨라치 뭐가리는 거서 기접제 쪽으로 단다 쓰고도 가르잖아 거기서 가르 숨근도 그 시해야 돼 맞아 창지 고사 뭐니 데레스 그 탐람 그 람톤 되시는 거는 람톤 나이 자와 최신 맞춰려 저 맞아 창지 고사데 추지는다 컨트롤 가르 숨고요나 숨어야 돼
And
이버티치 강사들 찾지는 그래 소소 삼로나 저거데 근데 랍자들이지
And about prostrations, yeah, usually we prostrate to our teachers, we prostrate to the Buddha, we prostrate to all these high lamas, and yeah, we can prostrate to these people, we can prostrate to persons, but the main one is it's a way also to consider as precious the teachings themselves. So the main thing when prostrating is prostrating to the words, prostrating to the teachings, prostrating to the Dharma. We also prostrate to the people themselves, but the main one is prostrating to the Dharma, the teachings.
tako karshiza pena tanzamule kan chuli pe mamboyar chuli sama pena jamsi konto sunguyona chuli sama mil pento jempen go sonja karvena tema zo mi parte de chasi to koyor.
For example,
the chodingi parte de chuli di jisin rangore kachamare ko labcha de kichishu tere maso kishapche was.
For example, about how the content is more important than the person. In this world, there are many different religions and philosophies, many different religions. And most religions, they are going to talk a lot about love, compassion. They're gonna do these things. And of course, if they're talking about love and compassion, we can prostrate. We prostrate to this too, not because a different person's saying. We prostrate to because it's benefiting other people. So because of this reason, we prostrate to.
Yeah. Daina da nenga sikti nga so ta ki kong sia na shinki ta chi so ge ni ma re ge ni chi sa lo tan cho le ya ki ba che ko re se tan ti zo la che zo tere de le ki ba che ko so le shi ina da na chi ta ti ki chu kong ne ma ni zo mu yir zo tere nam ji ma so tan ti kong le chi yo and then di zo ani chi ani tencha loma ani tanda ti kong ani tonier ketino ani tonier chimpo cheko res tonier chesat karal tonier cheko res so do samlo tan chola continue mendo data ko res tate samlo tan chot and drink do tam mendo ani shamba zo kiba chinyam lemba sonja atini kan sonderchi 대체고 다이는 남지 제대 가서 가르치는 미션바지는 기바치에 맞도 소설을 양아서 기바치에 배용으로다 남사 션바지는 견주지에 소설을 견주지에 배 인유를 말한자 제시만을 약시 들어.
So basically going back to this third quality of having effort, of putting into practice, basically in short the way of practicing is you analyze what is okay about you, what is not okay about you. So you try to get more self-awareness. You try to be more aware of your qualities, your faults, your inner world. And then, because you have studied, you have understood all the meaning of the teachings or these advices that you want to put into practice. And then you start to make the connection. Okay, what I see here inside myself, is it the same that he's saying? What is wrong? How far am I? How distant am I? Am I thinking like this? So you make these connections, and then you try to be like this. What did you say? I remembered, sorry. But usually it's much easier for us to look at someone else and see their faults, see their qualities also. But yeah, mainly see their faults, and then we're able to expose to them their faults and criticize them. But when looking inside, it's more, yeah, that's the habit we need to be more accustomed to. We need to be able to see also our faults.
Yeah, genze karizale suso de zamole kone yashe de suso res suso mola ngale yachi tene ngi se chura suso nyen kor ta chicken ge na de kore pama nyen de tomo tene jakap samar.
And why is it hard for us? Yeah, why is it hard?
Yeah.
Because in the whole world, I am the best person. This I that we have is the best person. And after the I, then comes the mine, my teacher, my friends, my family. Then they come.
Yeah. Ta ngone china soso ge samlo nala nga yakshu yinsa. Soso nga chikala horta. Kedani soso le ya mi soso sol nipa shore ya wa tse chure. Te zamtana ta chikure. In the city in Guinea. Then Susu Mitsama, Susu Nibashi, Susulia, Chick, Miss Susu Rentanshi. Rentan Samda, Tetaratan Ministry, Tarantanti Gonlia, Tanga, Sachi should Chasonde. Touching Michigan, Chinchilam Namsang Paul, Susu Pets Archimusam Sati, 16 Namsa Paul Dore, Yanangal and Toncha Salary, Yanangal Chick. Karzarota and chick Kalota, Tatang Rina, Tatang Madrash, Tagdusi, and Yanangal and Jasim Check the loud. Somebody Suso Rentanti, Suso Rentanti Chivanzin. What they turn down the song to check. Suso the best, Suso song to check.
Yeah, so basically about this perception we have of us being the most precious thing in the world. So we have our human value. We have the value of our life. There is value in our life. There is preciousness in our life. But if on top of this we put more preciousness than there was originally, than there is originally, then it happens, for example, we have the experience, it happens that if someone says a bad word about us, that we feel it, we become sensitive, very sensitive to this. If someone criticizes us because he's criticizing this I, this very precious person, or if someone looks down on us, then we feel like our reputation cannot be harmed. We feel very sensitive to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forgot the little thing that you said, not important, but we'll continue because you also forgot, I think.
Yeah. And Dorina Penna Nichik Michike Tachi Sosa Samlan Jawati, Stanton and Namsa, Pashoti, Kachati Manu Charuda Penna
Gichamino Chag,
Penna Chick Taganalo, Penson Rosana, Pashomede Namji Tachi Kashi Tachinatsu Nam Nepano Tindi, Sosa Chik Samloganich, the Numbala Shana and Rina the counter. Mitindi Namji Carlo Tachi Simcom Deo Menge. Tindi she could meet no Haquazina, Ko Carlaps and Langomata. 60 Pachikan Lamne. Tai Karchene, Tikam was a Karchin on Gomar. Just a con nepare, couldn't come into Con Ramay Con Nepare, so subridge. That they mind in Michik Laundi, Masolam Salon. Tangoni things Zeb was Salotanga, cheaper chickish, the Nambita Goni Tikashio. Karzana Koya, Shawan, Colorame, touch Quigila and Masun Mashing, touch a condo that so she shed her, Kuang, Koya Lapchak should. That didn't with Tatamashi Salo downtown. So pay Koyam was which I do, that Capudo.
In our lives, if someone who is very mentally unstable, but also like someone who really has a mental disease, who cannot control what he says. So he just says whatever, like these people that just say anything. When these people, they meet us on the street or we meet with someone like this person may call us names, may say many things, but we feel compassion. We feel like, this person is just saying senseless things, just saying baseless things. So we don't pay much attention. We just, oh, that's a shame. We feel compassion towards these people and not anger. When someone else is angry at us, and the person says also many bad words, many criticizes us with very harsh words, but then we have this sense, then we're sensitive to this, then we feel hurt. But according to Buddhist philosophy, it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same situation, because according to Buddhism, they're both under the power of different conditions. They're both acting without independence, because when they have this negative emotion, they are also pushed towards this action. So they're not in full control of their actions. So it becomes the same thing. And if we're able to have this view, if we're able to see things like this, then we have a very peaceful mind.
Yeah.
But it's very hard.
Yeah.
It's a
다 딘디 삼로 따세팅서 다치 무이 가르잖아 딘디 다 규tam디우 남샤시오라 긴친가 다 딘디 가는 가서 롬경 마체 딘디 소소 냠내노 다른 배치는 스타티 무이 드레스티스 야지 땅도 삼로 짜치부도 야지 땅도야 삼로 레제데 텐도야 쉐데 소소 삼로 심고 쉐데 용아 탐는 배 삼로 땅땅 배 마보여라 다들 무이 드레스
Muted di in si muted tatang.
Tatang Jawatangni. Ko pena singing Bajala, could get a king caragoni called Lavores. As a call Kondosayamendo, could get a king.
So dim
Tatang and also Muir, as a Yamneche go Muir, Tin Karazina, Tamala Shide. That Erina, Pateli Lauta Ganishan, actually. Couldn't bear and Bento Guashi.
Yeah, so this is the goal of one of the goals of our practice. So yeah, in the practice, there are many causes and effects. This is one of the effects of our practice. One of the reasons that we practice is to be able to have this very equanimous, very, very peaceful, like when someone says things, or to be very, very okay with this. So, but then, as we said before, that's something that comes gradually and gradually to, yeah.
Yeah. Then it was about chess. The Gondon
So now we're finished with the topic on the student. So if anyone has any question about it, otherwise we go to the next topic. So we have questions. Okay. Wow, so many. They want to be good students. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, but you were talking about the student who thinks very highly of themselves, right? They think that they are the best, right? Like, what about if someone struggles with only like, and so they think, so what about someone who struggles with only thinking the negative things about themselves, or maybe they even, I wasn't here for the discussion of finding a teacher, but if someone feels that they can't trust their own perception, when judging the qualities of someone.
In samlomena and took showing some loyana. The dolcho gigana girl, nagel chimboyana, the cangare. In a young dolcho yona, carichegre.
And the Tangali Chuchme, yeah.
And look
So Rendante Mate.
Can I catch it down? Can I eat it to be American? It's not Yapo Meva.
Yeah, that but chicken, the Lopsy, any body and Chagre.
Probably this has some relationship with our next topic too.
Yeah. Cousin, so Rentan, Tangas that you going and choose someone was really. So me so Rentan sure. Rentan, there's Rentan in Bataran, that took over. In a tig gunly and the wall entry. They Rentan, the social Rentan, you were wasn't on. And so no man, so there's some more bush so late. It's Controsa. So Mali Judge went to Samba. Then they came out it.
Because as you said before, we were saying before that we think we're very precious, we're the best. So yeah, we can go higher than this, our basic human value, our basic value of our life. and we can also go lower than this. So we need to put some effort in recognizing our basic human value or our basic qualities, and we need to recognize this. Otherwise, it can start to happen that we're angry at ourselves, and that we harbor these negative feelings towards ourselves.
Yeah. Right, that indeed, Shichum Boyana, so the bed dictionary, but Geshe, Basam Shichum Tana, Tony Petka, Jambala Reva Javia, Tindia Mea Chap Paru, and so Parita, Tavalia, Chitindi Ganga Dema, de Pentoma de Sassam, Tinichin Tesama Boji, Susan Ransochi, Mabudo. That is a Karzana. Then was in the wall, but Chinamji.
Yeah, and when we are in this phase where having this below our not being able to recognize these basic qualities, our human value, our preciousness, our natural preciousness, then it starts to happen that we cannot.
Shambhala Reva Jani Matra, Shamba the Karzur. Ta Shambhala Chi Takarzur. Such money cannot touch it. Chi Shamba Lotunshi and Roda, Karina, Vijambas and Giant Road in Mambo Euro. That in the Chendo San, the men.
So we lose basically. Sorry. So basically, we start to lose our hope. So we lose our hope, so we cannot find motivation to apply ourselves, trying to change anything or to get teachings or anything to learn about other things. And you can get to a point, if you go deeper and deeper in this exaggeration in the negative side, that you start feeling that if I stay in this word, if I don't stay in this word, there is no difference. And nowadays, many people, there's a lot of suicide. And so our next topic is going to be about the freedoms that we have in this life, in this human life, and also the favorable conditions that we have in this human life. So that's why there is a relationship, because if you can recognize all these favorable conditions, these positive aspects of our lives, then we don't fall into this negative, not recognizing our basic human quality.
Yeah. Tondong Tsuge, Nichi, Nambita Jumkon, Kachishionde, so they now Zipo Nepal Gongla and the kitchen which was the woman. Get only me, then the kitchen which me, little top say Nalaya, me, little so not to Samlo in Nepal. Samlo Nepal, Samlo Nepal Gongla, Zigan. Dendona Samlo Nepal Nepal, the chick corn and a Tawi Nepal Mandrajana. Tamo, very settled. Some chickeri.
Some chickeri.
Samlo Nepal, Manima, the Rapi Nepal, Madaya. So Chichikashi, Najichimu Kashi, and a Tato Shichu, Takashikar in Densimro.
Yes.
Taina, money, Maki, Salmondona. Samal cook up this month, Chipa, your race, Kachitishi. Tati cook up the Yona, Tati cook up the Christian Petutam Matum City, so solitary.
Yeah, the way that Buddhist philosophy explain the mind. Right?
Yeah.
The way the Buddhist philosophy explain the mind. So the state of our mind is the nature of our mind, the situation of our mind. In the coarse aspects of our minds, so there's a lot of difference. So some people have a lot of jealousy, some people have a lot of anger, etc. There's all these storms. But the basic quality, in the subtle aspects of our minds, it's exactly the same for all sentient beings, all people. So we all have this power, this potential, and then if it gets opportunities, if there are conditions for this to come, we all have this potential. That's the way it's explained, the mind. I don't know if it is clear.
Yeah. Taina, the Samloti, such. And the Samloti Nichi Yopate, Yaji Tawala, Tajidani was such 10, Mambo Yopin, Tamasun to a me 10. Tajik Samlo Nepatani, Yakshu Sigris.
So all the sentient beings, they have this. We have exactly the same mind. That's the way Buddhism explained. All the sentient beings, we have exactly the same, basically the same mind, especially in the subtle and very subtle levels. But how can we work with the subtle aspects of our minds? How can we develop the subtle aspects of our minds? And then also in Buddhist philosophy, it's explained that this human body that we have, this human body, this brain, all this human body, is the best support for the development of our mind. Also.
Yeah. 어디 전에 단단한 순딜이야. 즉 안에 된 다와 제단 저바 제세 딘디 가는 데 시시. 당어 수지물 없애는
Yeah, so our next lesson is going to be about these qualities of this human body, our human life. So what are all these freedoms and favorable conditions that we have just by having a human body?
Yeah, yeah.
This precious human body.
어디 네. 어디마치 직전에 좋아디.
Maybe this question, maybe you're going to become clear and clear in the next lessons. Are there questions?
I saw 3 more hands up.
We're going to, okay. I have sort of a hypothetical question.
Okay.
Let's say you have let's say a wise friend, someone who offers teachings that you find valuable, and one day that friend behaves in a way that seems unwise or doesn't seem to match with the wisdom of the things that they taught.
Okay.
How should that, what is the correct way to react? Like, how should that affect the opinion of the person? Is it right that it might affect the opinion of the teachings?
Good say. Chavatis, kare kongi sumcho dang gewa, jungna, agus me chava dukcha, jungna, ani kantas react, because we react. Kantas react, kantas kare samlatang gore, kantas samlatang gore, benami nge kansaki, nge samtu kansaki kora samtu, giwa tamgore yana kongi sumpa gi samsu na yes kongi sumpa koran samsu giwa tamgore dikantas dashigore di yona
tabache 제와데 세보랑도 좀 와서는 직전에 되면 답에나 코로나 담보 이치여서 직체 이렇게 봐지 직체 담보 비지 위치체 이는 직 강점지라 고양 시당직 제당직 만들어 제당도
내가 지당요
대해서 만들어지잖아 당에 들이야 다섯 가르치선 거 그랬어 소소 들이봐 들어
dikantas
가르치는 당 그랬어
내가 지당단 kansa di kantas chegare. Yeah, there's so many examples of this. It happens so much. So from one side, for us here being humans, it's very hard, almost impossible to get a human being that is completely without faults or completely perfect human being from the side.
So Samson touching Namji Chikarta Korisana. Gyonda Yudeni Chiktoria Chikshi Michi. Tapena Mipe Jana Pento Chimbu me and the Lobjon Yongi, Shi Yongi. Mil Kasichi Pentoyana, Pento the Perentan Chimshi. That teacher Chichena Miti, Korangian Chipechas and what. Antirigani Korangia keeps on she, then your cigarette. You know, cook keeps on a Koramichi keeps on. Send me mambo, social pento in one. Me mambo is a pento chedi, Renanti Chiro.
And then the children is
Chichena Korangi Pechas and or the honest choose to say a issue like Korankalon get under and with your cigarette. You know, Tangaso Kata Kuri, good. Pinto Chishur, Yakshu courage.
Another way, a way of thinking about this is to put into balance all the good things, so the qualities, and also the faults, the defects that we perceive in this person. So in one way, let's say this person is very wise, let's say this person was also very beneficial to other people, it has helped many people throughout his life or her life. So yeah, we see this. And maybe also later, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe also later, because of motivation for fame or getting money, this person engaged into an action that's questionable. So yeah, so we try to have a more realistic view of the qualities and faults of the person. And if you're able to look at the side, okay, so this person has done many good things in his life, and has benefited many people, has brought happiness to so many people, and together with this happiness for many people, he also brought happiness towards himself. And this is more important. And this is more important. We can have this view. Yeah, so one thing that I think should be avoided, it's I don't know if this has any relationship with the ways of relating to the teacher, which is something that we covered before. Maybe there's no relationship, but let's just say it doesn't make any difference. Someone that you consider very precious, someone you consider in a high, you consider in a high position, and then it happens sometimes that this person then does one thing that you don't like, one thing that is not in accordance to what you think is right, or something bad, will be something bad. And then we immediately paint the whole person in black. We immediately think, oh, a bad person, another bad person, a bad fruit. We immediately get into this thought. And I think that's not okay. That we should still consider the whole picture.
Yeah.
For example, just one example, let's say there's a very, very a small defect or a fault. Let's say, for example, here in my clothes, for example, here, you can see that my clothes is not, the joints are not very clear. They're a little bit worn out. But let's say that we look at this and then we immediately, maybe this is not a good example, but let's say we immediately think, oh, this has no use at all. I just throw it away. Maybe he didn't use this as an example. Maybe this I need to throw away, but he said, let's say there's just a small little dirt, a small little stain in your clothes, and you think, oh, now it's all ruined, and you just throw it away.
Yeah, that's
And also,
Okay.
So first, there is it can happen that you're not seeing things clearly, so you're not having a clear vision of what's happening, of these defects, these faults of this person. And also, just like with the clothes, many times you can find ways to work with this. So you can, like the clothes, I could still just maybe, I can still wear the clothes, and I can also, like if there's a little hole in my clothes, I can just put a patch. I don't need to throw everything away. I don't need to have this sudden reaction. And for example, maybe you can talk to the person, you can find out what happened. Yeah,
the Dovichin. The counter so good Tasser Gonia Tata Rendurimento. Yam Mishamba Yamtin, Ku Tasset in Jota and Dumendo, Kumasuchi. Contanium the Chimney. What you don't know, Sinanda, Tindi in Abalani. Jota Anton Yakshetter.
So I think, a good reaction, as you said, a good reaction is to analyze first if what you're seeing is correct, if what you're seeing, all these mistakes, they are the real situation. And then later you can try to see how to work with this situation, maybe talk to the person, maybe try to, I think completely breaking up the relationship, I don't think it's the wisest solution. I think it's, if you can discover more about it, see if there's a way to, if it's actually a bad behavior, see if there's a way to work with this, help him to change it or change it, etc.
Yeah. Some like Kangachi my switch, Namji, so top boy in under Chambo, Chinish then they call a margo, call a Kachakonishi matter.
Many times the thing, a bad habit that comes to us can be a friend or anyone that we're actually very close. We're very, very close to us, someone we like a lot. But this person says one bad thing, and we immediately we stop talking to this person. We never talk again to this person. That happens so much.
Then you come combat what Kunyam the Anjo Kasha Sheto Sona. Lamsa and the Susu Assembly Mangi. Chick Chaposum there. They can't, Bambo meeting Toy on the same Majesha. Namsa Mashit over the pub show the Tsukashish. Namsa Monishana. Then a tambo Kashishi, she had a Susu Pomdo Yering Majayori. In the only Kolianjo Kashi, Petuni, Iparilla Shematra. Kasikachi Shetosuna, Yanjo Jet Koliachi. Susu is same Kangamambush Ranching Shituto. That is so much that you go to Jap, shoot you go with the Taina. Shunjuji come the Tambo, Kachi and Gwenzi get a pay Kabudo. The culture is in Niger, Susu Pondo, Susu Tachi, what sound is a color.
What's up?
The Susu Sonjum, Susu Sonjub. Chitangin del Patch, Kachi and another Narama Chori Rosaris of some dog. That you call Nothing Arangaran Chick Jamchu, Susu Chick, Susu Tonchonchi and Susu Tonda Susu Nepo the map up to Yamata, Susu Yam Tomborachi. Was we?
With some song, the younger, it's so much.
Then that she again on the Kachi, a couple of child with the Kachi Matra. Come with each and I tell you, so when you qualify young Kachi shit or something. Chikarina, and a beauty in bed she left to some. So that on the bed can you want to so controls. Being in a meeting on the Matja, I'm saying you're the quiet Sichi Lang, I'm saying you're the sir. That the Kachin the matter is only. Maran Susan Najerche, Chiche. And then meet color, Kongel to the Jalaps and Tange Kolayanja Patrish in the Cantonada. At the church release. Carson and around the Susan Nepo to Mappa Martin.
Mappa Martin,
just an Agata, Susan Arching, Susan Sonchip check. Medium sink.
Less. I don't know if I fully understood what he's saying, but I think so. I think it's okay. And so in these situations, it becomes hard to talk to this person. Even if we have this when you see the person, if it comes this anger, if you remember this thing that happened, it becomes very hard for us to put in this position to talk to the person. And many times, if we're able even to say just a few things to the person, they say, "How are you?" or "Hello, how are you?" Then that's already a beginning for our anger to start to calm down, and for our view of the person to change, and for the relationship to progress in general. But it becomes very hard to even talk to the person. First, because of a strong arrogance from our side, and because we want to protect ourselves from this. We want to protect ourselves from this conflict, maybe.
Yeah.
We want to protect ourselves from this. Then we don't engage into this conversation.
Yeah, they don't. So. 장문이 저는 콜레파 아니 가체시에서는 수도 총리 조금만 총리.
Okay, listen.
내가 다가랑제. 나 삼로 강래 수수. 삼로 강래 수수치 디 네팔만 파토.
Yeah, so we have this feeling that we self-preservation that impedes us to have this conversation. But actually, if we go and talk to this person, our situation is not going to change. We're not going to become lower because of this. We're not going to be harmed by this. But we have this feeling that we're going to be harmed.
Yeah, maybe this.
Yeah,
yes. Okay, maybe it's one. Sure. Any question, man?
Other.
I was wondering, we talked about how it's easier to see faults in other people, but it's better to look inside to observe our own faults, right? But then once you start observing your own faults, it's not, I can be aware that I have a fault, but just that awareness doesn't mean that the fault is resolved. Then sometimes I feel like as the awareness develops, it creates more of a conflict inside, because then I'm hyper aware that I have this fault and I see myself constantly doing the same bad habits, but just the awareness doesn't make the habit or the fault go away. So what to do?
자기 말해. 내가 한 거 진짜 나한테 저와 농부들하고 자기를 잘 농부가는 게 연 땅에 하거나 아니면 뒤나게 경이 딱인 이 레가치 땅으로와 게 무슨 체도 유연이 있지 그래 가버려. 내 가리 체거래. 그냥 경리는 진짜나 내가 자기 말해. 체거래.
다 지워도 되나? 다 돈다. 다시 수술을 교육과 참마디야 삼론 코르데나 수술팅 수술하거나 원진치나 남서 매번 조금 두세 다 뒤에야 수술 맞겨 수술은 강하지 이제 용시를 지금 말이지 도시래 뒤에다 강나도 다시 수술 교육이 뭔지 제가 되니까 펜토야 되는지 매우 교육문제 제가 좀 교육을 잘 말아왔어 다 뒤에야
알았어. 기랑으로
legace kableya, legace do kableya. Tati chinayan tikamadu, chinayan tikamadu suskyunchi. Susul kangong to chia. That in this sigma resident machine are upset to it.
So your question, you said that if you identify your faults, if you see your faults inside yourself, they don't naturally disappear. So they're still there. And are you saying that when you're in your daily life and you have this recognition of your faults, you have this awareness of your faults, you feel like this is not benefiting you, it's actually harming you, because at any time you're like you have this criticism, oh, this is a fault, you have this fault, you have this fault. Is it something like this?
Yeah, it's like on the one hand, it's good because the awareness is now there. So there's not an ignorance that I don't have the fault. The awareness is there, which I find beneficial. The frustration of not able to change it or come back and repeating these habits.
Yeah.
당아서 담보 레카 가르치 삼로르지나. 그래서 다 소소 단다 꾸란 남시치. 셈레야스 다 심용식 주모는 맞견도 가리나 달래나. 담보 대가 최 소소 맞게서 요바티 이니 Indeed, some lot of Leon, so much, so your but thing was the cheto. So, so I get chimboy, I get chimboy in saying was the chair sometime, should I have been chair pendo chimboy. I get chimboy, I get chimboy, or Savoy in say, and that's a lot to it.
Not too good, yeah.
You know, my tip was it. Contract check the task. And I answer so touching that's Chamba Karina. That deeper in the other was started.
Let's focus. So first, so about, the way we recognize our faults, we recognize bad aspects of the mind. It can happen, you can have two ways of recognizing these faults. So one way of recognizing would be, you see that you have you see a big arrogance or you see a big anger inside yourself and you think, I am an arrogant person, you recognize this. Or you think, I am an angry person and you recognize that you're angry. That's one way. The other one is recognizing, I see arrogance inside myself. This arrogance, it's the cause of causing me suffering, of making me unhappy. This anger that I'm seeing inside myself is making me unhappy, which is the correct way of recognizing.
Yeah. Tanda Karazon was a chick. So Samlo, touchy, Yomo chop, Samlo Karan Corsona. Tell him, so tell a thing when the chase only tell a low don't check for a secretary. Cosa, call Karachim do say. Tamboni ma, take cutting man, so never associate, Konoma, Zingi much, Zengas, cutting a gas. Call Karachim, Korea, but don't you? The package much of it. Call Karachim do. Call the Malanayo Karachim. Teach it on a call touch.
And when we recognize this, for example, these negative emotions, it's not, they're not going to disappear, and we're not also going to force them to disappear. The point is not to forcibly, just like with pressure, just press them out of existence. That's not the thing. So we recognize the negative emotion and we analyze, we study the negative emotions. So we see, oh, when this negative emotion, what happens, where does it go? How does it harm me? Like what causes it to come? So we look from a distance, we look from outside and we study this negative emotion, being with the negative emotion.
Yeah, the young Nambishung no, Kashi Karason Yersina. Ko Karena Koleat, Korancha Shahas, and call it Tashon says. Jim Koleat Jambal, Kashi Karch Pentorsina. Ko Dindi Tagan Arranging Pasha Kurungage. Never was shipped to Chorich. So the Panyimbo Tagoya, Nimaimba, Koran Karaching doing the Tadina, Koranjing, and they never chat to this.
Never chat to
Koranjing, Koran, my ship Chorich. Then a commando
in the
magic.
So in the Buddhist text, it said that when you see a negative emotion popping up, you leave the negative emotion there. You leave it there. You stay from a distance and you watch this negative emotion. And not only you watch, and you also analyze. You do this process of studying the negative emotion and not immediately putting an antidote, immediately trying to eliminate the negative emotion. Being able to be there with the negative emotion. And the more you analyze, the more your understanding of the negative emotion grows, the more you see how it works, how this negative emotion works. The weaker and weaker this negative emotion becomes.
Yeah, Koranjing.
And eventually is eliminated.
Karema Chan, Taina, Injevity, Pena Chick Ambonga Sol Capoeira, Pena. Chitindi, some Pena Contrition, which is a couple of control around the tattoo, Capoeira. Manchang also controls actually Gilia. What? There's knowledge of on the contract is also simple condition tricksha. Shini Tindu Ginning as we are Tatanshi Press. But they are remembering the consonant for Cotambo, some local on the columns, the lessons and some. Then a tamboni Hakumaris.
But in real life, many times it's very hard to do this, to just be in a distance and watch and analyze. For example, let's say we get very angry. It's very hard for us to put ourselves aside and watch the anger and see how the anger is working. So usually the way that this happens is afterwards. using our memory. So we use our memory and we think, then we analyze, oh, how the anger came, what the anger did in my body, in my mind, how did it work? Yeah, immediately when the anger comes, you're already able to recognize and watch. That's a very hard practice to do.
다 배시잖아. 배나 즉 소송 컴바디는 되었네. 그만이 내용나. 당보 미게 내용이 가지고 그만이 하고 말. 하고 말했어. 그래서 가서 냠냠요 막 거기로 밑에 걸. 된도 가서 영어 쪽 상로 가래나. 당보 배니 저 쉬운 가서 지랄래. 하고 말해 가래나. 된도 싫어서. 이나 렘베 가서 밑에 가르치는 그만. 내가 그 가르치는 다 되는. 아 대신에 무슨 그 그만이 봐. 지를 못 지도. 다이나 그 당번에 레온디게 가서 그만 피해요. 그 가래 치다 되는. 렘베 그런 게 난데 왔다 되어 하고서나 그만에 그런 신 그런 것을 참. 이 그냥 말은 나. 어때? 다이나 그만에 있다고 내 추니 그만에 따면 그만에 무슨 가면 그런 하고는 그건 참 먼저 제그랬어.
예.
얘는 지금 저 소속이 상문에 대고 맞잖아. 아니 되게 맞아 정말 특이하지.
For example, let's say that just now, a thief walks inside this room. But nobody of us know that this is a thief. It's just a person coming to the room. So the person comes, we look at this person, we see that this person arrived and he sits down with us. And we are all okay. There's this thief here, we don't know that it's a thief. But as days go by and as we analyze the behavior of this person, we see maybe this person doing some thief behaviors, doing some thief things, and then we recognize, oh, this is a thief. And then just by recognizing, and he's seeing that we are looking at all these things, he sees that because we're always watching, we are attentive, we're aware of the presence of this thief. And even if you don't say anything, even if you don't put him away of the room, he starts to get shy. He starts to, everyone is looking at me like, how can I get his computer and put in my backpack? So he starts to get shy and eventually he leaves. But
가르쳐서 온데 당번에 가르쳐서 당번에 가서 때 그마데 막 비야 가르친 답시 좋은 말. 대체나 가르치는 말이야. 그마데 직전 때 그마 또 주무시오시. 결혼 콜은 생각지는 결혼 밤거리부터 쭉 계산하는 말이야. 걔너시 근데 상로 로버스 방법 가서 좀 배식 주무요. 그래서 그 컨트롤이는 갑자기 컨트롤 가가는 소설 강아지 그러면 소설 펜도 말이야.
And why don't we, when we see the thief coming, why don't we just push him away from the room, and why don't we just tell him time to go away? Because we don't know how strong this thief is. We don't know if he has a gun. He didn't say gun. He just said we don't know how strong this thief is. So maybe if you enter direct conflict right now, maybe you're gonna lose. Maybe you're gonna lose this battle. So in the same way, when a negative emotion comes to us, then we analyze, we see how powerful it is, because sometimes it's very strong. Usually it's stronger than it seems. It's very strong. And we cannot just brush it off our minds, these negative emotions.
Yeah, they on the Tanta Tishung and all their Shetan Chikan, the court courage and the social Taremoni, Dash, can be young with 6 years. The Taremoni, Tani Karchi, Tadina. Remember me, Kurama Churicho. Then chicks was away and okay.
Yeah, so basically what it says in the Buddhist treatises, in the Buddhist texts is, the recommendation is for you to watch from a distance and look and analyze, and then the power of this enemy, of this negative emotion becomes weaker and weaker and weaker until you can.
Okay, stop here.
Stop tasting.
Right. Come on.
Thank you. Yeah, we are 15 minutes late.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Tuchiche.
Tuchiche, Barry. Thank you.
Petro. Jayo.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.